how does one cope when they are feeling down and blue? Some go on a walk, some try a new hobby, and some unfortunately lean into self-medicating. And this was the case for Joey. He would drink his sadness away, eventually leading him down a path of self-destruction. Many pictures and paintings of him in his later years show him holding a wine bottle. This, my friends, is very likely the origin of the sad clown. Remember the sad clown? Between drinking and all of those crazy physical stunts he did on stage, Joey's body was breaking down at a rapid rate. I mean, he was about 30 years old, but to him, his body felt like he was 85. He had arthritis that left him in constant pain. In fact, it got so bad towards the end of his career, he had to be carried off stage after performances into his dressing room. Joey was drinking himself to death. But did he stop drinking? No, of course not. It's not that easy, first of all. But, let him have that one thing. Bad shit kept continuing to happen to Joey. Joey would end up having a son, and just like with his dad, his son was now going to follow in his footsteps. So much so that he went down a dark path as well. Sadly for Joey's son, it just didn't end well. When he was 31 years old, he had died. I think maybe, as you can imagine, Joey, the father, did not take this well. After the news of his son's death, Joey and his wife, they were totally distraught. They are devastated to the point that they attempted suicide together. It was like a pact they made. But both of them end up surviving. And then just 5 years later, in 1837, Joey Grimaldi, the OG clown, passed away. Joey Grimaldi was a famously tragic figure. He would consider his life equal parts laughs and agony. He even made a joke about his last name when he was alive, that it actually stood for Grim all day. Grimaldi? Grimaldi? Get it? It's kind of clever. One of the most famous writers of the 1800s, his name is Charles Dickens. You know him? He becomes fascinated with this clown, Joey Grimaldi, and even creates a character inspired by him for a book that he's writing called The Pickwick Papers. In it, a character runs into the ghost of Joey as he's leaving the theater. It's a real spooky passage, so I'm just going to read a little bit for you. Woo! Woo! Okay, spooky? Yeah. Quote, "It was night and the theater was dark." I don't know how to do a spooky voice, so just pretend I'm spooky right now. It was night, and the theater was dark. I was dressed to leave and was crossing the stage when he tapped me on the shoulder. Never shall I forget the repulsive sight that met my eye when I turned around. In all the absurdity of a clown's costume, his bloated body and shrunken legs, their deformity enhanced by hundredfold by the glassy eyes, contrasting with the thick white paint with which the face was besmeared, the grotesquely ornamented head, and the long, skinny hands gave him a hideous and unnatural appearance, which to this day I shudder to think of. End quote. Great, how'd I do? I know. Many say I should act. I get pretty committed. Anyways, when Joey died in 1837, he was a penniless alcoholic, which is kind of sounds harsh, but the terrifying clown ghost he inspired in Dickens' writing goes on to have a big old impact on the world. I mean, before Joey, people saw clowns as these happy-go-lucky, sometimes wise, harmless performers. But after him, people who read Dickens, which was like everyone back then, they were like, damn, clowns are freaking spooky. Around the time of Joey's death, something else happens to give clowns a bad reputation. A famous French clown named Jean-Gaspard Deburau, hell yeah, who was a huge celebrity at the time. This fool ends up killing a little boy. Yeah, we're gonna get murder mystery makeup real quick. John is out in the street, and so is this little boy. I guess this little boy shouted something that was really rude to John. And instead of being like, shut up, kid, or just minding his own business and just keep going on with his day and his life, John is like, what did you say, man? What did you say? What was that, bro? You wanna say that to my face, bro? And he comes for the kid. Now, John, at this time, he's walking with a stick. He's pissed off for no damn reason at this little kid. He goes up to this little boy and whacks him right in the head. trying to teach him a lesson or something. But unfortunately, this John man, he smacked a little too hard, and he ended up killing this boy on the spot. Accident or murder? You decide. I think we can all say murder, because he could have just minded his own damn business. Kids are mean, we know this. Just keep walking. Anyways, he taught that boy a lesson, but something comes along and changes the entertainment scene forever. Instead of famous clowns with their own shows, people are spending their money to go to the circus! I'm juggling. You know, remember we did the circus episode last season? Were you there, Paul? No, you were there. That was fucked up, I know. And since circuses had so much going on, the clowns didn't have to be that funny or even that talented. They could just like dress up and be a clown, and there wasn't really any personality to the shows or their acts because the circus was all about the spectacle. You know, the animals in cages, the flashy lights, the bright costumes, and fancy horse tricks. What I'm saying is that no one was going to the circus just for clowns. Thanks to Joey's legacy, clowns really just had to slap on some white face paint, a red nose, and act drunk. A little dark. In 1876, a French critic said that the clowns were getting to be, quote, terrifying and full of anxiety, end quote. He called their tricks, quote, suicidal, end quote, and said the whole thing reminded him of, quote, the courtyard of a lunatic asylum, end quote. So yeah, clowns were now becoming your drunk uncle that you didn't want to see on Christmas.